Welcome to our End of Week News Bulletin. I am Rachel Munyifwa. The Kdf Weekly Bulletin is a show to keep you updated on events undertaken by the Ministry of Defense over the week. In our bulletin tonight, securing the Horn of Africa. KDF is not conducting a recruitment exercise. Fika Salama, surviving behind the enemy lines. Change of guard at African Union Transition Mission in Somalia. Justified Accord 2023 conducts medical camps in Samburu County. And in sports, Kenya Navy Inter-Units Football Tournament comes to a close. The Somalia Frontline Chiefs of Defense Forces and Chiefs of Defense Staff held a meeting to deliberate on the regional efforts towards stabilization of Somalia and eradication of terrorism in the region at the International Peace Support Training Center in Karen, Nairobi. The agenda of the meeting was to review the concept of operation to be adopted by the frontline states, as well as officially sign the Joint Operation Plan. While giving his remarks, General Robert Kibochi, Kenya's Chief of Defense Forces, expressed optimism that the deliberations of the meetings will contribute towards creating lasting peace and stability in Somalia and other frontline states battling the insurgency of armed groups.
General Kibochi further emphasized that the peace and security agenda is a critical pillar in anchoring the frontline states. Also, the interrogation process, security and stability in the area are vital for regional prosperity, as they will provide a conducive environment upon which all other aspects of regional integration shall thrive. The meeting by the chiefs is a follow-up of the Head of State Summit held in Mogadishu, Somalia on 1st February 2023. During the meeting, it was unanimously agreed to plan and organize a robust operational campaign at the frontline states level against terrorism attacks. The meeting brought together chiefs of defense forces and chiefs of defense staff from 4 partner states, including Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia.
Ms. Ilse Brands-Keris, the Assistant Secretary General for Human Rights and head of the New York office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, today held a meeting with Mr. Patrick Mariru, Principal Secretary for the Ministry of Defense, PS, Foreign Affairs, and other military officials at the Defense Headquarters in Nairobi. The aim of the meeting was to look for a rationale on how to deal with the implementation of the East Africa Community-led process on restoration of peace and stability in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo while taking human rights on the forefront. Ms. Ilse urged the country member states whose soldiers are deployed in the Democratic Republic of Congo to give human rights the lead in order to avoid human suffering.
The United Nations Human Rights Commissioner recognized Kenya Defense Forces' role in DRC and other parts of the world and assured them of their support in matters defense cooperation. She also pointed out how well the United Nations Human Rights Team has integrated with the East African Community Regional Force contingents in DRC to check on human rights violations, while giving the Kenya Defense Forces legal approach on roles and mandate on behalf of the Chief of Defense Forces. Brigadier Yvonne Kirui, Chief of Legal Services, highlighted that Kenya has a national peace support operations policy that provides the framework, outlining measures with emphasis on respect and protection of human rights, as well as adherence to the international practices. The meeting underscored the importance of Kenya's role in the East African Community Force in DRC in compliance with human rights and African Union compliance framework, where Kenya's engagement with United Nations human rights mechanism is vital while dispensing their mandates.
The Ministry of Defense attention has been drawn to fake Kenya Defense Forces recruitment letters and advertisements in circulation. Kenya Defense Forces wishes to notify the general public that it is not conducting any recruitment exercise countrywide. Members of the public are therefore urged to verify information and employment advertisements on the Ministry of Defense website and our social media platforms as shown in the scrolls below, or in the local dailies. Recruitment into Kenya Defence Forces is free and fair to all eligible candidates. Dr. Abdi Hassan, the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, held a press briefing on the ongoing Operation Maliza Uhalifu in the North Rift, in which he declared 23 rifles had been surrendered, mainly from Samburu and Turkana counties. During the press briefing, the Regional Commissioner promised to maintain high levels of professionalism throughout the Operation Maliza Uhalifu, only targeting criminals. Similarly, Baringo County Security and Intelligence Committee held a meeting with the multi-agency operation commanders of Operation Maliza Uhalifu on the 6 counties declared as disturbed. The meeting was chaired by Mr. Abdirisak Jaldesa, Baringo County Commissioner, bringing together representatives from Kenya Defence Forces, National Police Service, Directorate of Criminal Investigation, National Intelligence Service, and the National Government Administration officers.
The regional commissioner stressed on those in possession of illegal arms to surrender them voluntarily and clarified the situation in the North Rift is calm. On his part, the Baringo County Commissioner affirmed that the National Police Service remained to be lead agency in the operation and the military will be part of the support system. During the press briefing, Brigadier Ahmed Mohamed Saman, the Army Special Operations Brigade Commander, Mr. Tom Odero Rift Valley Regional Police Commander, Mr. Julius Kirago Baringo County Police Commander, and George Obuelu County Intelligence Coordinator were present among others.
The Kenya Air Force flight crew benefited from a 3-day survival exercise dubbed Fika Salama. The exercise was aimed at acquainting the participants on desert and jungle survival, search and rescue techniques, how to survive in enemy adversary environments, and how to track back from the enemy territory in case of an air crash.
In his closing remarks, Colonel Herbert Wafula, the Deputy Base Commander of Moi Air Base, stated that the aim of the exercise, Fika Salama, was to learn and achieve all survival tactics necessary in case of a crash, as well as improving on physical fitness. Colonel Wafula further emphasized the importance of survival tactics to all personnel in the Kenya Air Force. Some of the areas covered during the exercise included first aid, survival equipment, and survival tactics to reach the rescue zone. Fika Salama was conducted at Moi Air Base Eastleigh here in Nairobi and at Ole Tepesi in Kajiado County.
Major General Peter Muteti has assumed office as the new Deputy Force Commander in charge of support and logistics for the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, commonly known as ATMIS. He replaces Major General Gerbi Regasa Kebede, who concluded his tour of duty late last year, having served from the year 2021, first under the African Union Mission in Somalia, referred to as AMISOM, and now ATMIS.
Major General Muteti brings to the mission a wealth of experience spanning over 37 years of service, having risen through the ranks in various capacities. While speaking at the force headquarters, Major General Muteti assured troops that he is committed to the security and stability of Somalia and that together they shall deliver on the mission's mandate. Prior to his appointment, Major General Muteti was the Assistant Chief of Defence Forces in charge of operations, plans, doctrine and training. He holds a master's degree in defence studies and also served as Kenya's defence attaché to the United Kingdom.
Mr. Patrick Mariru, the Principal Secretary for Defense, hosted officials from MEDEF International, a leading consortium of French companies dealing with technology, defense, and security equipment. The PS noted that Kenya and France have a long history of cooperation spanning several decades in various areas of mutual interest, adding that the meeting aimed at enhancing collaboration for sustainability of the partnerships.
Mr. Mariru pointed out that Kenya was an anchor state in the East African region due to its geopolitical position, resulting in its leading role in peace, security, and stability by contributing troops to Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, as well as sending monitoring teams to Ethiopia and South Sudan conflict. During the meeting, Lieutenant General Francis Ogola, the Vice Chief of Defense Forces, who is also a beneficiary of the French War College in 2006, noted that France has been a long companion for Kenya, having worked closely with the Ministry of Defense to add value in the current expansion and modernization of KDF equipment and infrastructure. Philippe Gautier, MEDEF International Chief Executive Officer, appreciated Kenya as a strategic partner due to its geopolitical position, adding that they shall continue to collaborate in the field of security, water, and infrastructure.
Defense is low. Yes.
Exercise Justified Accord 2023, conducted at the School of Infantry in Isiolo, came to a close yesterday in a ceremony presided over by Major General Todd Wasmund, Commanding General U.S. Army, South European Task Force Africa, alongside Ambassador Andrew Young, Deputy Commander Civil Military Engagement U.S. Africa Command, and Major General Juma Munyikai, the General Officer Commanding Eastern Command. In his address, Major General Wasmund noted that security threats in the region keep mutating, thus a reason for continuous training and integration for the protection and defense of the people. He added that a problem for one is a problem for all in the region, and so the reason to come in unison, train together to defeat a common enemy and future crises. During the exercise, Kenya Defense Forces and United States Army medical personnel operating under field training exercise conducted free medical camps in Samburu County.
The locals thanked the Justified Accord troops for aiding in solving their social and health challenges.
Basi sasa mimi nashukuru kwa nyinyi yote, anapata dawa kutoka mbali, kutoka kwetu. Sasa mnaona nini? Naona mzuri sana, mnafurahi kabisa, kuna kitu mbaya mnaona mbaya.
Apart from reinforcing the forces' bilateral and regional relationships, the Justified Accord field training exercise also seeks to foster good relations with the communities around the exercise area.
Kenya, the United States, and the regional countries have continued to cooperate in many areas with mutual benefits to our countries in terms of training and operations. We are happy to have achieved a lot, especially in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism in the region and globally. Training is key in enhancing the cooperation between the partner states, and the Kenya Defense Forces takes this exercise Justified Accord seriously.
Justified Accord 2023 was a 2-week exercise conducted at the School of Infantry in Isiolo. It was aimed at improving multinational interoperability and reinforcing positive bilateral and regional relationships in a conflict environment.
You have all been phenomenal hosts and partners for Justified Accord 23. And I want to thank everyone who worked behind the scenes to make this exercise possible. And to all of our exercise participants who we heard from this morning and we got to observe in the demonstration, I want to thank you for your professionalism, for your commitment, and for your enthusiasm, which have made this exercise a success.
Captain James Byron, Commander Combined Task Force 150 of the United Kingdom Royal Navy, was on a 2-day visit to the Kenya Navy during his regional cooperation tour in Mombasa. Combined Task Force 150 is one of the 4 task forces operated by Combined Maritime Forces, a multinational naval partnership comprised of 34 countries. Combined Task Force 150 conducts maritime security operations outside the Arabian Gulf to ensure legitimate commercial shipping is free from non-state threats in the Western Indian Ocean, Gulf of Oman, and the Arabian Sea. The mission of Combined Task Force 150 is to disrupt criminal and terrorist organizations and their related illicit activities by restricting their freedom of movement in their maritime domain.
During the visit, Captain James Bryan met Brigadier Sakale Kiswa, the Fleet Commander, Kenya Navy, and Colonel Michael Atodonyang, Kenya Navy Chief of Operations. The leaders discussed issues of maritime security and various ways Kenya can benefit from a regional partnership with the combined maritime forces. Captain James Bryan was accompanied by Ed Black, United Kingdom Deputy Defence Attaché to Kenya, and Senior Grade Guard Fredrickson, the Danish Liaison Officer Commander. Kenya is currently partnering with the combined maritime forces to achieve their mission on the East African coasts.
Major General Todd Wasmund, Commander Southern European Task Force Africa, paid a courtesy call on Major General William Shume, the Deputy Army Commander at the Kenya Army Headquarters in Nairobi. The two commanders held discussion on various areas of mutual interest and cooperation. Major General Todd appreciated the cordial relationship that exists between the Southern European Task Force Africa and the Kenya Defence Forces. The Kenya Defence Forces 11 Battery Air Defence, in collaboration with Beyond Zero Mobile Clinic and Mugia Ranch Conservancy, conducted a medical campaign in Lodabu, Posta, and survey areas in Laikipia County. The campaign was geared towards promoting cancer screening, awareness, and also benefited the local residents with generalized medical care. The medical campaign reached out to more than 300 patients, some of who was screened for both breast and cervical cancer.
During the drive, 3 cases of thermal abrasion were recorded, with 2 breast ultrasounds being sent for further examination. The other common ailments that were treated included respiratory tract infections, mild eye infections, wound dressing, and mild malnutrition. Major Felix Mackenzie, the battery commander, noted that the medical camp was crucial in improving the health care of the local communities, as well as fostering good relations with the security personnel working to pacify the region. He further encouraged the locals to shun away from banditry and its vices and instead embrace peace and self-development. The locals thanked and lauded the continued efforts towards a more medically integrated Laikipia and looked forward to more of the same in the near future.
Colonel Father George Maingi from the Kenya Army Headquarters led Catholic faithfuls, their families, and pupils from Mariakani Primary School in observing Ash Wednesday Mass at the Sacred Heart of Jesus Roman Catholic Church in Mariakani Garrison Barracks. Ash Wednesday is celebrated by Christian faithfuls all over the world to mark the start of a 40-day Lenten season, a period of prayer, fasting, almsgiving, and penance.
Colonel Father Maingi called on the congregants to shun away from the evil deeds and turn to the Creator as an appreciation for His love and mercy shown through the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. In his sermon to the soldiers, Colonel Father Maingi underscored the importance of setting the right goals, categorized into 5 broad spectrum of proper planning, consistency in prayers, people relationship, patience, and forgiveness. On his part, Lieutenant Colonel Rajab Athman, the Kenya Army Headquarters Imam, presented a life well balancing ethics with 8 broad aspects of spirituality, healthy living, work relationships, family life, social life, time for recreation, life planning strategies, and development as enshrined in the resettlement pillar.
In other news, Brigadier Jotani Gula, the outgoing Sector 2 commander in Dobli, handed over command and introduced the Somalia Security Forces leadership to Brigadier William Kamoiro, the incoming Sector 2 and 2nd Brigade commander. Brigadier Gula convened a meeting with Somalia Security Forces leadership in order to discuss key issues in enhancing the security situation in Dobli region. The meeting was also aimed at introducing and familiarizing the incoming commander, Brigadier Kamoiro, with the new working environment. This is part of the ongoing seamless transition between the two commanders.
Brigadier Gula appreciated Somalia Security Forces leadership for the cordial working relationship they showcased during his tour of duty. He noted that the biggest achievement he had witnessed in his tenure is continuous capacity building and medical provisions to the locals around Dobli region. Brigadier Kamoiro, on his part, thanked the outgoing commander and his team for exemplary performance in carrying on with the implementation of Somalia transition plans. The local leadership, led by Hassan Abdi Hanishi, District Commissioner Dobli, on his part welcomed the new commander and promised to provide unwavering support to the achievement of the mission at hand. Brigadier Kamoiro has officially taken over command of Sector 2 today in a changeover ceremony held at Dobli, Somalia.
And in sports, Kenya Navy held the annual tournament of the first sports edition for the year 2023 at Lieutenant Colonel Kimaru Stadium, Kenya Navy headquarters in Mombasa County. The tournament comprised of the men's finals between Kenya Navy Base Manda and Kenya Naval Training College Team B. Kenya Navy Base Manda emerged winners, netting 5 penalties to 4 after a 1-1 full-time draw. In the ladies' final, Kenya Naval Training College team emerged winners, beating Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe 7-4 on penalties after a barren draw. The tournament was a talent search for competent teams to represent Kenya Navy in the upcoming Chief of the Defense Forces Bora Cup Challenge and upheave the Kenya Navy football team participation in the Football Kenya Federation Division 1.
Brigadier Gituma, on behalf of the Commander Kenya Navy, Major General Jameson Mutai, congratulated the competitors for the quality of talent exhibited during the matches, urging them to synergize training with the better coaches from the able team managers. He affirmed that determination, focus, self-sacrifice, and personal discipline should always be the guiding principle for better performance and achieving perceived limits for triumph.
Moi Air Base netball team put their best foot forward as they received the unit's flag from Brigadier Samuel Kipkorir, the base commander at Moi Air Base headquarters. The base commander gave them the mandate to represent the base at Bora Cup tournament that is projected to run from 27th February to 3rd March 2023 at Ulinzi Sports Complex in Langata.
The team, whose main focus is winning a gold medal at the tournament, commenced their training at the beginning of this year. The team's coach, Senior Sergeant Rebecca Sarange, affirmed to the base commander that they were ready for the assignment. Brigadier Kipkorir, in his part, expressed confidence and satisfaction that the training was a success since it focused on being ready for the tournament.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to your feedback via our social media handles and your viewership next Friday for the KDF Bulletin. My name is Rachel Munyefwa. Goodbye.